Yeah. And they won't go to regular, and I've talked to some of them and I'm like, do you have a regular count? They won't go to regular counseling. They just like, nah, I'm not going. They don't know what I've been
Yeah.
through. I had a brother recently just call. It was the anniversary of his daughter's death, and the daughter died at 2. And when I said, well, did you go? Because I almost said, did you go to grief groups? They have those. And he basically said he went one time and he just felt it did not connect with him because he feels in his heart his daughter was killed by the hospital, medical neglect, right? And let's be real clear. I'm real clear with him. Yes, sir, I believe you because the medical industrial complex is killing us too. So, but he was really struggling. He was so rage filled, Tyra. I was like, Lord, this man, I'm going to read on the news. And I just talked to him and I let him, and he like literally cried because he was like, this is the only space where I feel like I could cry and nobody's going to, like you said, clown me or punk me. Cause he was bawling. And I know there was pain there. I know he loved his daughter. And I kept saying, you don't have to tell me you loved her. I know, I could tell just from your pain. And so that's what I like is that when I've had black men call me just about parenting. Like, I put my baby to bed and I yelled at her, but I feel guilty. And I was like, listen, the babies ain't gonna die from a little yell. Like, I don't want you hit the babies, but and I said, when the baby wake up, if you feel really bad in the morning, stoop down, get that baby a hug and say you love that baby. I said, just always tell that child that you love them. So they will call, but they're not going to call other people, I noticed, because they just don't trust it. They don't trust that it'll get in their inner circle, whatever that circle is, or they'll be clowned or punked. So I really appreciate, like you said, because black women use it a lot. And, black, and I'm going to put this for San Diego, a lot of indigenous folks here in San Diego use it a lot. So I don't know what we're doing with our indigenous population in San Diego, but we need to do better. And so they call because they don't trust the systems because the systems have always let them down. So I'm really appreciative when black men call. I love those calls because I'm like, oh, the brother going to take it down the road. Let me just wait and see what he's going to say. And they always say something like just rage filled and I want to choke somebody. And so it's good to do that. And also one of the things I like too, and that I don't like, that should not happen, is that I'll be they'll call, trans women will call and be like, hey, I'm being followed. And, for our sisters, trans sisters out here in these streets, trans people, it's dangerous out here in this country. And so I would say, stay on the phone and play like you're on the phone with the popo, and we talk while they're walking. And then when they get in the house, they hang up. So we do that particular service just to help our trans folks at least get in the house safely, because they will get killed around here on these streets if people think that they ain't nobody got their back or whatever. So we do that. That's a service that a lot of trans women will utilize late at night.
Yeah, and that's definitely needed. I'm over here, so much to unpack in that segment, like everything. One, I'm so happy of these strategies of success, and we'll go further into that just a little bit. But I'm thinking about that trust when we talk about the trust, because what the other thing I appreciate about black women, they're always in community, building community and so forth. So I feel black women do this a lot better than black men, where they use their community, like they have a sister that they go to for this or for that, and they like tell them the truth, and they ain't scared to like, girl, you messing up, you need to blah 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 blah. Yeah. I ain't about to like and but us men, we don't have that. And then I'm thinking about that trust thing that you talked about, right? Like, and not just for black men, but our community as a whole. What would it take for us to, I don't know, as a community as a whole, start to, I don't know, build relationships of trust and community with each other so that we can talk, genuinely and heal genuinely through all of our BS and all of the stuff that we kind of go through as a community, and lean into each other. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What would that take?
Well, my thoughts would be we'd have to get rid of capitalism. So it's a lot, Tyrell, right? Because let's be real clear, right? How do we? You're right. How do we come together when I work 3 jobs or 2 jobs? I'm tired, right? How do we come together when I got to feed the kid? So we don't have the space no more because. I grew up in a rap room, and rap room was a place where we can go as teens and talk to. It was Mr. West. He was just the dopest black man ever, right? We don't have, one thing I notice about all administrations, when stuff works, because back in the 70s, I don't want to age myself, but I can. Back in the 70s, when they were creating all these teen type of things, they worked. I had the Tigers then. And when it works, they, our administrators, we're going to cut that budget because it's working. I just really think our government sometime, our local, is like, oh, that's working. No, we need to keep them people, because I believe that we fund, right? Black death and Black misery is entertainment for United States. I think we fund a lot of it. So I don't get mad at Black people when they don't, I do encourage people who do call, who are struggling, to organize in their communities, because this is what we need. And I will tell people who call from jobs where there's might be 5 other Black nurses, get together with them Black nurses and organize against what's going on. So I do encourage people to organize, because it is what will get us to liberation and freedom, is that if we're all as a united front. And I think we have the skills as Black people and marginalized folks to organize. So I don't poo-poo them and go, don't talk to your next door neighbor. I'm like, y'all need to get together and organize, because this is not good what you're going through. And I'm quite sure somebody else is going through it. Because that's why I don't think we come to each other anymore, because I just think that we're tired. That capitalism had got us so tired. Why I always tell people, we off the plantation, sort of, because some of the stuff we doing is still plantation based, work from sun up to sundown and past that, and then we're tired. So and that's why this line is so busy. It's super, super busy, and we can't help everybody. We miss phone calls because I apologize. And Black people, for the most part, understand it. They always go, I know, sis, I know it's rough. So, but it's just, I wish we had more to be, we can do more, but we can't be all the end all. It'll take community organizing,
Yeah. And I think that's something that, some of the other communities that are outside of our communities or the opposition has done very well. They organize, right? And assemble and all that good stuff. So there's some lessons to be learned from that.
Yeah. Can we get a little playbook? Okay, right?
Yeah. I was like, okay, let me get from that playbook. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he said it. He said we were being out. He said it. We're being out organized. He ain't never lie. It's the truth. And I think that when you have the means, you can organize, right? On a regular basis. But when somebody called me today and she told me she worked 3 jobs, and I couldn't even, and was going to school. So I'm like, I don't even see, I'm trying to fit here and see how you do that. And then I understood why she was crying. I understand why she was on the cliff. Like I got it. Cause I'm like, 3 jobs and going to school. That's near impossible. But she was doing it, badly, like crying and, but she just thanked me for having a space to just vent. But I just was like, wow.
And the crazy thing about it is, like, we kind of normalize that in our communities. Like, you gotta work the 2 jobs, you gotta do that, and then if you go out in other communities and you see how they're like, wait, you ain't doing 2 jobs, you ain't putting back that, like, and you can't even phantom what that's like, right?
Yep.
Because we have normalized that in our culture of, like, this is what success looks like. You got to hustle harder. You got to do this. You got to get and that's where the exhaustion comes in, because in the failure and the mental health things, because we figure if we can't do this, we a failure, right?
It's unhealthy, and it's unhealthy. And that's what I was telling her about, that I don't think she failed her class, right? Because I don't think higher education is good around mental wellness, et cetera. And I have so many people who call me when school starts, especially college, and they're in tears because the professor don't understand. I had COVID. I don't, have a mental wellness. Higher education is not suited for that. They're just not good. They're just not good at it. That's just how they are. And so, they got to navigate that. And I'm like, this is not your fault. And I don't consider it a failure. As long as you if you want your degree, as long as you get it when you get it, doesn't matter a time frame. This whole 4-year is all BS, right? However it takes you long to get it, if you want it, you'll get it. And so she was like, thank you so much. I said, don't call yourself a failure. It's just, a little bump in the road and you'll pick it back up. So, I don't like to use, like a lot of people say the same thing, Tyra, oh, it's failure. And I'm like, you're not a failure. I hate that language, because I just think that how we get to our goal is so different. Nobody is on that straight and narrow path. That path has crooks and it has a boulder in the way you got to climb. So, and once I explain that to them, they go, oh, I never thought of it that way. We're not a monolith. And so I try to tell them that that 4-year might not work. It took me longer than 4 years to get mine. So I'm like, that's right. Right? Come on now. So that whole thing that we put out that, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm quite sure it impacts white people too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a journey for everybody, and
Journey,
everybody's journey is not the same.
not the
I
same.
tell people to fall in love with the journey and be
Yes,
true to your own journey and follow your own course. You're gonna get all the lessons. You're gonna get everything you need
that's
to
right.
get to where you need to get to. And to that sis, if you listening, I would say you are not a failure.
Thank
You
you.
did not fail. The system failed you,
Yep.
if anything. But keep on your course and journey. Whatever you believe in, if God, the universe, the universe will not allow you to lack, and will not allow you to miss what's meant for you. Keep going on your journey. Just keep
Right.
striving to be the best that you can be. So,
And we as Black people have to start telling our kids, because every time I tell a Black, I don't even know what they look like. You're
mhm,
beautiful. They cry like, oh my
mhm.
God. I'm like, you're beautiful. And I say, I'm so proud of you. And they just,
Yeah.
we don't tell our kids. I'm like, why is this person so shocked? I tell them all the time when they call, I'm so proud of you. You're beautiful. And they just start to cry because we are so like sometimes stuck in our toughness of surviving this, that we don't give that love and care verbally to our kids.
Mhm,
Like our kids know you love me, but we need to be telling them more that we're proud of you, no matter what your stride is, where you're at in your goal. I'm proud of you as a parent. I'm proud of you as a caretaker. I'm proud of you as a Mima, right? And so
mhm.
I always tell them that because, San Diego Unified gives our number out, and tell San Diego Unified, y'all got a problem with the N word in your school if you listen in San Diego Unified. I had Black kids call me and be like, the kid is using the N word and nobody's saying anything, right? Who is not Black,
Right.
and we think that because it's in our music that it's okay. But it impacts
Mhm.
some of our kids. And so the kids call and I'm like, I'm so proud of you for calling, and you're beautiful, and I'm so proud that you're in school. And these kids like are sobbing. And so I'm glad they give the number out though, but they should have wrote a check.
Yeah.
Let me come do
Yeah.
some training. I don't
You
care
just
what
say
it
to
is.
Unified, please write the check. Please write the check.
Because your kids is calling. So yeah, right. Your kids is calling. I need you to write that check. And so it's just like when the babies, and that's what I call them. They get mad. I'm like, when the babies call, right? To me, they're the babies.
What?
I get touched because I'm like, at least they're reaching out. At least they want to talk about it.
What?
At least they want to at least not hold on to it and maybe get expelled or something. But it's just like we have to start praising our babies, because to get up as little people and navigate this madness that adults can barely navigate, that's a feat in itself.
Yeah,
In
it
itself.
is. Man, but it is a feat in itself, and that's another layer of success.
Yep.
Um, Going on the success theme, since we've been talking about success. Well, we went through a rabbit hole, just like I don't even know where we left off.
I mean,
But let's talk about success and the positive impact of Call BlackLine has had. And when you think of it, what are some of the key strategies that you think have led to your success?
so Tyrell, we don't need the market. Our
Yeah.
successes we have been given out to the ethos. Stop it. We do not market. People are very surprised. Like, oh, you need marketing help? No, we have marketed so much. People like the word of mouth, and during COVID, cities was like, I'm like, I didn't pay for that. But Canada now. Well, we've had Canadians for a long time, but our success is that we are almost kind of global. Like
Mhm.
we do get calls from Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in Europe.
Oh, they having a heck of a time right now. I don't know if you've seen in the news. They acting a fool towards these. I don't know what's going on, but it ain't looking too good. It's looking like how we was looking during George Floyd time. The way they
I
acting up in the
gotcha.
streets. Yeah.
So we're getting some Europe calls. And so that to me is success. We never had to market. For some reason, we never had to market. Some folks, I'm gonna shout her out and call her name out. SZA,
Okay.
SZA,
Uh-huh.
SZA. I don't know, when SZA was a year ago a couple of years ago was trying to do this whole mental wellness thing or whatever, and
Hmm.
SZA inadvertently, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt.
Hmm.
She had Call BlackLine embedded. Tyrell, in one day, we got 6,000 calls. Shut the system down. We had to shut the system down.
Wow.
800 messages. Now, when I called these people, because we broke up the numbers and we got to call these people back because they could be angry. Some people want to talk to SZA. Now,
Oh man.
SZA did do a little tweet that said, "I'm sorry," but she ain't never break up a check either. So I'm gonna just call people out. She ain't never break up a check either. You shut the system down. We literally couldn't take any more calls. Over 6,000 calls. I thought the system was broken, and it wasn't. So I have to say, some famous people, and what hurts me, right, is that they don't need to give me money. I'm gonna be honest. If SZA had said to those same people who were calling, "Yo, go on the website, there's a donate button and donate $3, $5," they would have broke our bank. We wouldn't even have to be in this situation anymore. And that's what I need, people who have money and have means. Vanessa don't never want to check from you. Sometime your clout will get.
No. I'm gonna say it for Vanessa. I want a check for Vanessa. She may not ask you for it, but I'm gonna ask for a check for Vanessa. And SZA, after you put a check, could you do a shout out and then also tell people to donate $1, $2?
Okay.
You got the fan base for it. Like, help a sister out. So Vanessa ain't asking. This is her little baby bro asking.
My baby bro was asking. Don't cut the check, girl. Bye. I was just, and so it's just, people, and we do ask, would you find the number? So one of our successes, we never had the market. And I think it has to do with the love and care we give people who call. Like, I've had one of my people, I did be like, it was funny. She cursed out a couple of the, spam type of people or hate calls, right? She literally cursed them out, right? Because she was feeling her way in her feels. And the man, a couple of them had nerve to call looking for the supervisor. And I said, so what gets me is that you literally called to use the N word and the B word, but you mad because the person who answered the phone cursed you. I said, help me understand that. And so, I did talk to them about, I understand, right? Sometimes it's frustrating, but I've learned I just hang up. I don't even need to do a click, I just hang up, I'm not into, I don't, what I taught her was like, when you invest so much anger, it impacts your body. Don't impact them because they're laughing on the other end. So, sometimes I do, have to tell my listeners, do not respond in kind. Just hang up.
Like, disclaimer, failure to change course of behavior could lead into us matching energy.
I like that. Yes, Tyrell, right?
And we do match energy.
So I just was like, and we can block. I just tell them, call me because I have access to the system. I just block it. That number gets blocked forever. So I'm like, don't, I just think it's because in the beginning I was kind of doing the same thing with my energy. Then I was like, wait a minute. I don't got no investment in these people. These people got too much time in their hand. I cannot. So, and I also try to, mirror and model how I want my listeners to be. So if I'm out here cursing folks out, I can't say anything when they do it. So and I learned that just from the DV program that I ran in Rockland County, is that I had to be respectful to the men because I was modeling what respectful behavior is. A lot of times I wanted to curse their asses out, right? They're behind out, but I didn't because, so it's just, I just tell them that it's just not worth it either. I have some great listeners who, I have one who calls it spam. She's out of South Carolina. I'm like, that doesn't get on your nerves. She goes, nah, just hang up. And so some people just have the personality to be listeners because they're like, no, just hang up. Other ones, a little fiery. Like, but they also, these are like regular living in the hood or living how they live in folks. And so sometimes you're going to get what you get. Like you said, you're going to match yours and maybe a little higher than yours. So, I got all of them and I love them.
The universe will give you what you need at that time. So sometimes you might have needed Pookie to tell you some things about yourself, or you might need Auntie to tell you some things.
So I've had some of that. So that's one of my successes, is that we were surprised we didn't have to ever market. Like, people will call me for a pamphlet. I'm like, why? I don't need one. And they're like, you don't have a pamphlet that we can hand out? I don't got nothing. Because we never had to market it, because it just took, for some reason, if somebody calls if they call 988 and say, I want to talk to a Black person, they give them this number. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't need 988 to get more Black people, but okay, 988. So a lot of 211s, I want to talk to a Black person. Then they'll call me, how you get our number? 211 gave it to us. So when people, it's trademark, and that's another success. when we first started it, Black people were real supportive. And this lawyer who's a trademark lawyer for social justice stuff, she trademarked it for me for free.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is
That's
expensive.
beautiful.
So those are like our successes. Our website is maintained by a white man who feels like he's doing creative reparation. So he maintains it. He pays for the website. And, I'll text him and say, hey, could you just change it? And he does whatever. Because when he did let me have access, I did delete everything by mistake. Oopsies.
Never again.
He so nicely built it back up. I was like, I think everything. I told him, I said, oh my God, everything vanished. He was like, don't worry about it. I'll put it back up.
Sure, look, I'd have cussed your behind out and like, I'm revoking your access. You ain't touching this site ever again. You let me know what you need.
Yeah. He never told me that, but he did give me the password, but he knows I ain't going to use it. I'm like, and another success is, I'm not going to get y'all universities out here right. Is it Sandy? What's the public one?
San Diego City College? You talking about that one?
San Diego State, then, right?
We got SDSU, San Diego State University. We got USD University. USD is University of San Diego. UCSD is also out here. Okay. I don't know which one you're talking about, but San Diego State is probably the most dominant one, I think.
The public one, right? Your California big university system. They have a technologist called Triton Engineers, and what they are is the engineer majors, and we do have an app. That was another success. The app was they do apps and website design for not-for-profits for no fee. Okay. So
if you're talking Tritons, I think that's UCSD.
Okay, Triton. So we have an app, on that can be accessed through Android or Apple, and they set that up for me. And so that's another success, because I always wanted an app, and I've been going in and checking. Apps are very hard to navigate for me, but I can go and check and see, because sometimes people don't want to talk. Sometimes people just want to tell their story and let it go. So we have an app where people could just tell their story. We wanted to be able to pin, because what we track too, Tyrell, is negative consumer contact. We have, and once again, I like to do Walmart.
Yeah.
Why Black people shop in Walmart? Walmart is the worst place for Black people. They are policing and surveilling Black people as soon as they walk in the door. I get so many calls from Black people who are mistreated in Walmart. I'm sorry. I haven't been in Walmart in 10 years. And so I just don't do Walmart. And so we track, and we wanted to be able to pin it. Like, say, if I went to this restaurant and they mistreated me, but they said that technology wasn't part of their bail. They told me, if you get some money, have somebody like put that piece in, because we wanted to be able to pin all over the country where Black people shouldn't go and be safe. Almost like, not the Green Book, but whatever book we had, because everybody hates the Green Book, but the book we had back then is Black people, so we get killed traveling. Yeah, everybody hates the Green Book, so I don't know why. I've never looked at the movie, but it's just so we want to be able to pin stuff for folks. So
I love the idea of pinning stuff. So you just made me think of, I had a podcast interview with a gentleman, I think it was last year, the year before, where he was talking to me about trauma tracking. And but his version of trauma tracking is doing it in these workshops and these situations with Black folks for them to identify when they feel trauma, right? Or when they feel it in it, so they understand the places that are inadvertently causing them trauma, and they can understand what's going on when they enter those different spaces, so they could be they can better equip themselves, right? For and understand where they need to spend less time at, right?
Or sometimes just having breathing techniques or something to get you, because sometimes you got to be in meetings when you're the only one, right? And just go, okay, breathe. Or, I love that trauma track. Yeah, because it definitely impacts in spaces. So, and that's what we wanted to do, but they couldn't do it. I don't know why, and I'm not an app person at all. When I get an email saying something, I just go, hey, Philip, they sent it, and he was like, I'll take care of it, or it's not important. So, because I don't know it well enough. Once again, if I had funding, I would have like IT type of person to handle that. Yeah. So, that's our success too, right? That people, when they hear about us, those who have some means will be like, yo, I could do this for you. I could do this for you. Man. They even said our website was really good. And they were like, your website is good. We don't even have to touch it. And I was like, well, I don't do it. I just want to tell you, because it'd be 6 figures and it'd be horrible. So having
I, I
somebody who
I had
understands.
I had a good ally do it for me twice.
I know. It was so funny. I'm like, he gonna shut. He gonna be like, look, I'm done with you. He was so nice. Like, Vanessa, don't worry. Probably somebody said he probably had the templates already. Like, they templated. So he was very nice. And he's so wonderful.
Yeah.
The awards we received, he go and he'll put them on, and with little grants, we'll put up that stuff up with no problem, because he works another job. But
Yeah.
I like that he said, listen, I can't give you a bunch of money, right? He said, but I could, do your website for you.
Man. So see, allies, if you want to get involved, you want to understand how you can best support, this is a perfect example of that. We need
Yes.
you. We need our allies just like we need our people. So, here's an example. Here's an example. Man, I feel like I could talk to you forever, but I don't do the
I know.
Joe Rogan kind of
Right?
podcast. So let me see how we can wrap this up.
Okay.
Let's but two more things. All right. So one, what lessons have you learned along the way, and what advice can you give to aspiring entrepreneurs, activists, community developers, especially those in the Black and Pan-African communities?
Wow. Lesson. One thing about us is that I need us not to think that organizing is boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I think being that neighbor who lends an ear is activism. I think that we are activists at heart. And so I don't always put into this whole big thing of activism being, I got to be on the street with a sign. So I want us to know that when you are picking somebody up and taking them to the poll or picking them up, that's activism, and also Black people are philanthropists too, right? That cooking for somebody on the weekends, that's philanthropy. So there's so many things that white people have co-opted, and we are saying, oh, philanthropy, you need a lot of money. You don't, right? Philanthropy is so much more than, and we've been doing it for many, many years, Black people. And I want to say a lot of marginalized folks. I ain't gonna, kick my folks of color out, because they out here on these streets too. So I just think that one of the lessons learned is that because they call us too, right? Our Asian community calls, et cetera. And a lot of times they call wanting to know what they can do. And so I think that I've learned that it's not just a Black line, it is a for the people line. And so that's one thing I learned, is that as we answer different calls from different folks, it's for the people line. We don't even tell white people they can't call. We talk to white people too. So, who are experiencing whatever, right? And so I just think that that's a lesson learned, is that we all in this madness soup together. And, we'll only succeed together. It's not one or the other. It's all of us. That's why it's called For Us, By Us.
Wow, I love that. Power to the people. As for all of us, you are not alone. This is your home too, right? And we're all in this big soup bowl, as you said, together, of chaos and trying to find our way through the chaos, to find community. Vanessa, it's been incredible hearing about your journey and the impactful work of the Call BlackLine. Now you got where can our listeners go to follow your work and get involved? Drop all that stuff in there.
Okay, so we do have a website. It's www.callblackline.com. I want to make sure, because there is actually a Call BlackLine out of LA. Just want to put that up there. Or I think it's called BlackLine, but we're Call BlackLine. And you can donate, but on the front, there's a picture of Harriet Tubman and us marching to the Tappan Zee Bridge that we shut down in 2018. So you'll see that, and that's how you know you're in the right spot. There's an info page where you can go if you want to be able to help us, right? Because we always need help. Or if you want to donate, there's a donate button at the bottom of the page. We are a tax exempt organization, so the tax ID number's there too for those who want to donate a lot of money. But I tell people all the time, creative reparations works. Everybody don't have to have money. You can sometimes help us with development. What does that look like to get more money? What does it look like to write a grant for us? So, we are open to anything, because we do need that support, because we did put that cart before the horse. The horse is walking backwards. And so, we want to be able to pay our volunteers so we can keep our volunteers, or really paid people. So
Man.
But thank you, Tyra, because I've been waiting. I'm just so excited that I got to come on here. I'm like, hey,
we've been meaning to do this for a minute, but we finally got it. We finally worked it out. The logistics. I'll also add because I realize you do training too. If y'all need training and knowledge, tap in. Vanessa got some courses, especially
this
on
is
y'all corporate place.
And let's be real clear. This is for psych wards. This is for, I'm gonna say, people who do mental wellness in some of our some of these HMOs. We need to, we're willing to do the training. So we'll come out and do some training. Along with Phyllis, by the way. We're gonna always bring Phyllis.
All right, we'll bring Phyllis too. So yeah, I'm so glad we got to do this, sis. This has been a pleasure as always. We definitely gonna talk offline to see, where our family trees intertwine at. I know it's gonna be somewhere there. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming through today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, sir. And we'll be talking because we friends. So
yeah, we friends for real. Yeah. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe to Rise Urban Nation podcast for more inspiring stories and valuable insights. Share this episode with your network to spread the word about the groundbreaking work of Call BlackLine. Together, let's rise. Peace.